Hey guys, what's going on? It's Brandon. So this video is going to be about just a quick brief chat about BSV, Bitcoin SV, the coin, and also talking about Jesse from the z06 world, talking with Jim Mero. What a great interview that was. So let's do the BSV stuff first. Long story short, guys, it went pretty much straight up in the last 24 hours, and it's back up into the 27s, almost 28 at the time of this recording. It was down to like 23 the other day, 22. I don't know how low it got, but anyway, I didn't sell. I held on. I said the moment I sell, this thing's going to take off straight up, and sure enough, it went up. Thank God I didn't sell. Could now be a good time to sell. If you're really a day trader, maybe you sell right now. If you got in down in the 22s, we'll do another dip potentially. I think 20 is the bottom where I see it going, and then I see it turning around, because that's like the long trend line is like to 20, I believe. So anyway, that's the little BSV chat. You know, Bitcoin's probably going to end up doing a split. Regular BTC is going to be doing a split here soon. So that's going to be interesting to see how all that plays out. And, you know, if the one that allows for the, I can't even think of the term right now, the ARPANET, whatever the hell it is, the one that allows for the big memory where they can put the images, you know, and encrypt the images and post the images for the world to see, which is the big controversy right now, because they're saying that they can put, you know, child, you know what I'm going to say, bad images of kids naked or whatever. Basically, long story short, that's if they can figure out how to overcome that problem using AI to screen everything before anything's posted. Well, then, like if you're running a node, use AI to somehow screen everything. Well, then whatever that solution is would also apply to BSV. So the moment that that solution is announced, BSV is out of the woods with any problems. You see what I'm saying? So BSV is currently not on most exchanges. So once it comes back to the exchanges, it should skyrocket. So I think BSV has the greatest potential long haul for to rise. So anyway, so that's enough of that. The Jim Mero interview, I really liked it a lot, and the reason why I liked it is because Jesse actually understands cars well enough to carry an intelligent conversation with Jim Mero. I'm not trying to fault everybody of the past. I appreciate everybody who's ever done an interview with Jim Mero. It's, you know, Stephen Bell, Stephen Garrett, whatever he wants to call himself. That guy did a great job in the beginning, a long time ago, where he's the first one to really get it out of Jim Mero that rear caster is a big issue, and that if that's not set properly, the car's a death trap. Yesterday, or not yesterday, a couple days ago, when this interview was posted with Jim Mero and Jesse, I didn't have time to watch it. I kept trying to watch it, and I was just so tired from life, I couldn't make it all the way through it. I kept falling asleep. Nothing against those guys. I'd been on a crazy road trip and all kinds of stuff. I was just worn out, but finally got a chance to watch it last night after I woke up from my nap. And fantastic interview. Jim Mero goes on to confirm what I've always accused Randy Pobst of, is that Randy Pobst was fucking up the rear caster on the C7s, and sure enough, Jim Mero confirmed that the reason why Randy Pobst you know, basically shit all over the C7 is because he was always knocking the rear caster out of alignment. And it sounds like Jim Mero has hard evidence proof that that's the case, because all it would take is one of the GM engineers to hook the rear caster tool up to the car and see that it's out of alignment. So there's why Randy Pobst sucks at driving the C7, and the C7 sucks to Randy Pobst, is because Randy Pobst factually now sucks at aligning cars, don't you, Randy? You'd think he would have talked about it by now, but nope. Can't swallow his pride that he sucks at fucking aligning a car. Instead, he's going to take a shit on an entire car brand that he doesn't know anything about, and then think it's magic that Jim Mero can go set a you know, 710 in the Z06 at the ring. So again, if you put better tires on the C7 Z06 and or DCT clutch in the C7 Z06, not 01, Z06, it is a sub 7-minute car at the ring. Wing instead of spoiler, wing, better tires, DCT in the rear on the end of the torque tube, it's a sub 7-minute car. General Motors knew that, and General Motors knew that the new EDIF strategy on the C8 Z06 would not allow the C8 Z06 to run that fast of a time, and General Motors did not want to hurt the sales of their mid-engine car. They wanted to simplify the production of Bowling Green, because originally at Bowling Green they were going to build both cars, and the front engine and mid-engine side by side. And Jim Mero was devastated when GM basically informed him they're not going to do it. It's because GM was ashamed that the C8 was the inferior car due to the EDIF program, which is probably the only thing that Jim Mero didn't talk about in the Jesse interview. And I think that that's the topic that Jim Mero is not allowed to go towards, or at least he's scared to go towards, because he knows even if he's right and that I'm right, which I've been right about everything so far. I was right about Randy Pobst and the rear caster. I've been right about everything. I've been right about the C7 Z06 being a sub 7-minute car if you give it better tires, a wing, and a DCT. Any one of those things is easily worth 10 seconds at the ring, let alone all three combined. So anyway, and Jim Mero never got the C7 Z06 to run cool at the ring. He doesn't know how much power that car has when you keep it cool. So I do, because I've actually equipped it with the proper oil cooler to keep the blower coolant cooler as well. It's all a system, and when you cool down one thing tremendously, it cools everything else down. Okay, so I really loved the interview. Would I like to interview Jim Mero? Sure. Absolutely. I've always given him compliments behind the scenes. The only thing I gave him a little bit of a hard time about was that day when I was walking into, you know, the Meyer or Target or wherever I was walking into. I said, man, you're out of your mind to say this car is going to run 620s or 630s, when I was talking about the ZR1 and the ZR1X. I was like, you got to drive the car first, Jim. But other than that, I got the most respect for Jim out of anybody probably at General Motors, even more than Taj. I really like Jim Mero a lot. Jim Mero gets into his headstrong battles with who was it? I can't think of his name. But anyway, the big chief engineers, he goes through his whole career better than he's ever gone through. It's like a 2-hour-long interview, complete opposite of Justin the Horsepower Obsessed, where he's like, hey Jim, you can leave now. Thank you. He's like, hey Jim, you can leave now. Like after Jim had been talking for like a half an hour on Justin's channel, Justin's like, okay, we got a raffle. Hey Jim, you can leave now. It's like, do you think that's all Jim Mero has to say? You just want to cut off Jim Mero? I mean, I it's unbelievable when you got Jim Mero on the show and you're like, hey dude, you can go now. We're done with you. We got better things to talk about. We got more important things to talk about, don't we, Justin? It's just, I cannot stand the guy. I cannot stand Justin, a Horsepower Obsessed. But anyway, you have the star of the Corvette world on your show and you tell him to get lost. Jim's like, no, I think I'm going to stay here, asshole. He doesn't use the word asshole, but he's like, no, I think I'm good. I'm good. I'm going to stay here. You're not gonna shuffle me off this show like fucking chopped liver, you piece of shit. But anyway, what was I gonna say? I'm sorry. Jim Mero didn't say that. I'm saying that. Okay, I'm paraphrasing how I think Jim Mero should have said it. Okay, but anyway, what was the other thing on the show that Jim Mero talks about? Jim Mero mentions the C6 ZR1, which is basically the C7. Setup as far as fuel consumption is concerned, because it's a 638 horsepower car instead of 650. And Jim Mero basically says that they had a serious issue that he is not willing to discuss that completely stopped everything on the C6 ZR1. Well, I'm going to tell you guys what it was. They ran out of fuel. And these guys at General Motors can sit there and scratch their head like, who's his inside sources? How does he know that Randy Pobst had a rear caster issue? How does he know this? How does he know that? It's because I'm a Sudoku puzzle mastermind. I can put everything together and solve the puzzle. Give me a second here, because I gotta pay for food here in a second. I want to set that down. I got to sign for something. Jim Mero, when he says that they had a serious issue with the C6 ZR1 where they had to ground the car for a second, for quite a while actually, until they could proceed at the ring, it was because they were out of fuel. And that's why General Motors didn't put a taller blower. Thank you. Thanks. That's why General Motors didn't put a taller geared blower on the C7, is because they knew that the car was out of fuel anyway. And here you go. I appreciate you. Here's your pen.
Thank you.
You too. Thanks. She's a sweetheart. So anyway, they learned it on the C6ZR1 that they were out of fuel. And so there's a couple possibilities here. Either the C6ZR1 originally had a taller geared blower, which is one possibility that I firmly believe, and or General Motors had to figure out how to make the fuel pump program, module, voltage, and fuel pump itself higher flowing in the tank to feed the high pressure pumps. Now on the C6, I don't know that they had direct injection. On the C6ZR1, I forget. I don't think they did. The C7Z06 definitely had direct injection, but you still have to have the pump in the tank feeding the fuel up. So I think that General Motors learned the hard way on the C6ZR1. It was a fueling issue, and I think that General Motors has basically politely told Jim Mero, you will not talk about fueling issues due to this Brandon Byers guy talking shit at Vet Titans all the time about how our cars are right at the brink limit of fuel because it's something that could get our company sued to death, and we will fuck with your pension, sir, is what I am gonna go out on a limb and say they've told Jim Mero. If he talks about the fact that the C6ZR1 was out of fuel the first time they took it to the ring, running top speed when it gets into COT, which is called cat over temp protection, which is where the car has to run extra fuel through the chamber to run in a quote-unquote rich state to protect the cats. And if they don't run the extra fuel, the car runs lean and the cats get burnt out, melted, they get liquefied like lava, molten metal, and poof, they get blown out at high speeds. So anyway, just figured I would cover all that. So Jim Mero can't get into those details, but he did mention that there was a serious problem with the C6ZR1 that he's not allowed to discuss. It was fueling. Okay, so they found out the hard way they were at the max fuel capacity once Jim Mero really takes it to the limit. Who else takes the cars to the limit? Hello there. Okay, so anyway, I'm really looking forward to the Spring Mountain situation, and I'm going to do everything in my power that even if the YouTubers can't come out, try to get Jim Mero to come out to Spring Mountain. I'm going to do what I can to try to, if there's anybody with a ZR1 who doesn't want to go out to Spring Mountain, let me know, because we're going to try to swap your VIN to Jim Mero and surprise the guy. I would love it if Jim Mero could come out and drive the C8 ZR1 the same time I'm at the class and figure out just how much slower I am than the fellow. Because I'll give him credit, he's probably faster than me, but the EDIF program might be funky enough and he might be alien enough to the car because he still hasn't driven the car. He said that he's going to drive it with Jesse, the C6Z06, or excuse me, the C8 Z06. He's going to drive it for the first time with Jesse, hopefully here in the near future. Jim, if you're watching, I'll send you this link. I drive down through the Carolina mountains and Tennessee mountains all the time. Not the tail of the dragon per se, but roads that I prefer more than the tail of the dragon that's less touristy. I'm going to be going here in the next week. So if you can break away for 2 days, I'm leaving out of Southern Ohio and going down to the north side of South Carolina and coming right back. Get a hotel along the way and I'll show you some really awesome roads. I know you think you've found the best roads in the world, but I have this one road that I prefer better than I think that any road you've ever been on so far. And I'm not going to say what it is because it's my top secret, okay? Because I don't want a bunch of people there. But anyway, I'll show you where it's at. It's further south than you normally go, Jim, but it's just barely further south. Just barely further south of the Dragon. It's my favorite road that there ever was. So anyway, that I've ever found. You can carry a lot of speed through it, but it's still like tail of the Dragon. So anyway, will Jim Mero ever do an interview with me? I don't expect him to, because I expect that would get him in trouble with General Motors, okay? So that's why I'm so thankful that this guy just ran right out in front of me. If I would have ran into him, he would have been at fault. He was at a stop and pulled right out in front of me. I mean, people are fucking nuts, man. Anyway, what was I going to say? Where was I going? That's why I'm so thankful for the Jesse interview, because if Jim hadn't interviewed with Jesse, we were never going to get a good interview out of him. It would have been, no offense, nobody's perfect, but just for the record, Steve Garrett, whatever, when you're interviewing Jim Mero, he starts to say something, like he gets like one sentence in and Steve Bell was like, oh yeah, that's great. Okay, now for the next question. It's like, the guy wasn't done answering your question. Glad you have the fucking attention span of a squirrel, but I like it. Steve Garrett, he's never crossed me. So I'm just trying to give you some constructive criticism. Some of us want to hear what Jim Mero fully has to say. You don't want to just cut him off and next question. He has more to say than just a couple sentences. And while the average Joe might be glazed over and not understand what the fuck he's talking about, I understand what he's talking about, and I like it when the guy talks. So anyway, let's just leave it at that. I'm gonna eat my lunch here. I was gonna go to Lowe's, but I realized I gotta go look at what the fuck I need before I go to Lowe's, so forget that idea. Anyway, pay attention to BSV. See ya.